Muy bien, amigos, hemos empezado con música de Rey Barreto y espero que se encuentren listos para nuestra conversación con Zenaida Smiley, la asistenta directora de un programa de mujeres jóvenes en ROCA, aquí en Springfield. Ella nos va a dar información súper interesante. Mil gracias por haber venido. My guest tonight will be Zenaida Smiley. She is the assistant director of a program that is called Young Women's Program, and this is at ROCA in Springfield. Zenaida, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Tertulia. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias por tenerme aquí.
Very good, good. How long have you been working for this organization, and what motivated you to come to work for them or with them?
Yes, so I actually have been working for ROCA as a provider for over 13 years when they first opened up here in the city of Springfield through the Mass Hire Holyoke program. And so I recently became an employee as of October of 2021. And I am now the assistant director of the Young Moms program. And what brought me to the program, what drew me in to take part of this amazing program that we have is I, myself, was a teenage mom. I became a mother at 16. And so I've always, teenage pregnancy, teenage trauma, things that surround that type of topic and stuff has always been home to me, has always been important to me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Good to know. And now, can you please walk me a little bit through the process, how a person gets started or admitted to this program? Do they come to you referred by an agency, or do they come on their own and they just walk in through the doors?
Great question. Yes, so we get all types of referrals. Our referrals come from either the court system, DCF, walk-ins, the hospital, Bay State, where else? A few from the Hampden County Women's Correctional Facility. So they come from a variety of agencies that we work with collaboratively.
Mm-hmm. Can they walk by themselves also without being referred? Can they come to you and say, Alice, I need help. Can you help me?
Absolutely. We take walk-ins, we fill out the referral right away, and we start engaging with the young women immediately. As soon as they come in through our door, we make sure that we get in touch with them, we stay engaged with them until we can accept them into the program properly.
How old are these young women? From what age to what age can they participate in the program?
So our young moms and young women are usually the age of 16 to 24. We have been known to take some a little younger than that, depending on their scenario, so depending on what's going on with them and the severity of the trauma or the help that they need us. Definitely. We sometimes will take them a little younger, but the base age is 16 to 24.
Uh-huh. And when they are referred to your program, are they willing to participate right away, or do you have to kind of work with them, come, we'll help you? What kind of incentives, what do you use to attract them to your program?
Yeah, so what sets us apart from other agencies, other teenage or young women's program is that we are relentless in our work and our outreach. We will knock on doors consistently and constantly to make sure that we engage. So we kind of want the young moms or the young women that won't traditionally do well in a traditional setting. We want those that want that may be DCF involved or they're mandated to come to us. So they're that resistant, and then we do the relentless outreach with them. So we'll knock on their doors, we'll meet them where they're at.
And when you say relentless, give me an idea. How often do you go and see them and talk to them before you give up?
Yeah. So there's rarely giving up. We really we take that word relentless seriously. So within the first 60 days of getting a referral, we try to see them 1 to 2 times a week. And we will go on social media. We will find them either through other friends of theirs on social media. We will go to aunts' addresses, mothers' addresses. If they happen to be in a detention center, we will go everywhere, shelters, friends' homes, family homes. wherever we need to. No, I believe there's no rock unturned that we will find these young women.
Very good. And I imagine that they, at the end, must be so grateful that you didn't give up, because I have never heard of any agencies in which they really go and knock on the doors many times until you get some kind of a connection with them. Usually, after 1 or 2 times, then you give up, but your organization doesn't give up easily, so that is great. So once you find them and once they are willing to participate with you, what's your first process? What do you have to work with, in which areas? I imagine emotionally must be a big step.
Yes. So we what we do is our whole model is we have a 4-year model, and with the 4-year model we do intense cognitive behavioral theory. So what we try to do, it's a brain science that we do. We try to get them to understand how the brain works and how to get them to change the process of their thinking. A lot of young people tend to be reactive, and so they tend to use the bottom part of the brain. And so we try to get them to use more of the top brain, like think, take a deep breath, feel your feelings, and what's making you stuck in a certain cycle. And then from there, what are you feeling, and how do we disrupt that cycle? And so we do a lot of that, probably the first 6 months to a year. And then we go on to getting them into practicing it themselves. We also do other programming like HiSET. We also get into parenting classes and workforce readiness. And while we're doing those classes, we're still hitting them with the cognitive behavioral theory. We're still making them aware of how they're feeling when they come upon certain situations in their lives, and how should they better react and how to better cope with those situations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because these young women are considered at risk. So I can't imagine all the traumas that they must have, and that how difficult it must be to overcome. And for you, also for your workers, how to get them to trust you. Do you achieve that point where they can trust you?
That's the whole concept. That's our whole being, is to build that relationship with them. So it takes us those 4 years. So when we actually get to know that young person, not only do we know them, but we also know their family members. We also know their children. We actually have seen their children being born. I have a youth worker that actually has witnessed one of the young mom's babies being born. She was there in the hospital. So, and then now the little baby is walking. He's 2, I believe. And so we definitely walk them through the whole 4-year process. And it doesn't end at 4 years. Once they graduate, then they move on, but they still can come back to us. We're always that safe, stable home or place that they can always come back to if they need a certain help with certain things.
Yes, that's good to know. It gives you a little bit of a reassurance that in case you relapse, you still can come back and you will still work with them. And you were talking about a child or children in general. So when you're working with the moms, what happens to the children? Are you working with them also, or do they go a different way?
Yeah, no, currently we're serving 90 women and about 120 children. Some women have their children with them. Some children, unfortunately, have been put into DCF, and some children, family members may have them. But while they're with us, while they're doing programs with us, we have a child care center that we make sure that the children are provided with EI, early intervention. So we're making sure that the children go through an assessment every 6 months, making sure that they're learning, they're crawling, they're eating, just making sure that they're with their age is matching what they should be doing at that age. And then with the young moms, we also do, every 6 months, we do assessments with the young women. So every 6 months, we're trying to monitor and see that change in that behavior. So every 6 months, the mom also go through a change assessment that we call.
Good. So you work with moms and the children as
Yes,
well.
on site.
We are speaking with Zenaida Smiley. She is the Assistant Director to Young Women's Program at ROCA. When you are working with moms, what kind of training do you give them in order for them to be self-sufficient or self-reliant or to be able to find a job, become employable later on? What kind of training do you offer for them?
Yes, so currently we have a I'm so sorry. We have a transitional employment program, and we also teach parenting classes. So the parenting classes, I believe, are 13 classes that they go through. And our daycare coordinator, she's in charge of teaching the girls, but also giving them those tools for parenting. But for the transitional employment program, we have our very first. I'm so excited. Thanks to the city of Springfield and our mayor, he actually gave us some funding so that we can have our first transitional employment program. So once these young ladies graduate, so they got to be in the program for about 60 to 90 days. Once they come to work consecutively, and we teach them, like we'll do also OSHA 10 during this 60 days or 90 days. Then they'll graduate into a phase that they'll be in an advanced program, advanced transition employment program. So what we do there is we actually connect them with BHN or Bay State, and we transition them into this program. So these are women that have completed 90 days consecutively coming to TEP. And they do anything from snow plowing, the storm while everybody was warm and you didn't have any water or electricity. I'm sorry, Raquel. Our young moms were out there shoveling fire hydrants and making sure that the sidewalks were clean. So when people decide to come out, the streets of Springfield would be clean for them. So yeah, and then once they graduate, like I said earlier, in that program, then they move on to Bay State, and they get their wages go up a little bit. And then if Bay State decides that they're amazing, because they so are amazing, they keep them, and so they become employees of Bay State or BHN.
And what kind of jobs can they get at Bay State?
They start them in a variety of positions, so they can do anything from reading the little invoices and prepping the trays, to actually passing out the trays, to collecting them, or to doing to actually checking the trays to make sure that this Jell-O on this tray is sugar-free, because it may go to someone that's diabetic. So they have to be very analytical and really look at things just to make sure that the food goes out properly. So it could be a variety of positions.
Yeah. Oh, very good. So, and it seems like in a short time they could become employable. Now, you mentioned 4 years, Zenaida. Do they all have to wait for 4 years, or maybe some of them could graduate earlier if they learn a job maybe earlier?
Yeah, there are some girls that go through the model a little bit faster than others, absolutely. And we encourage that. We don't slow the progress. The process for them. So if they're doing amazing, we definitely put them through the model. But again, it's that 4 year or 3.5 years of tons and tons of cognitive behavioral theory, helping them with high set, gaining gains on their high set. There's parenting classes. We do picnics. Our most recent event, we're hoping to go go-karting in the beginning of April. We go out to picnics in the parks. Last year we went up to, I believe, a park in Northampton, I believe. So we try to do outings. We got tickets through the city of Springfield. We got tickets to Bright Nights. So we also take them out to see, to have them with their children to go to Bright Nights. So not only do we do the groups in our facility, in our building, but we also do things outside. We had yoga this past Wednesday. We actually had yoga, and I actually did yoga with the girls, and that was interesting. But yeah, we try to bring the community into us. We have Tapestry come. They talk about sexually transmitted diseases. We have DTA on site for them. So 2 days a week, DTA, the the Department of Transitional Assistance, they come in twice a week, and they also triage any girl that's having issues. We have, I'm trying to think of who else we've had. We've had, for Black History Month, we had some drummers come in and do dances for us. This month, it's amazing that I'm here today and I'm talking about these young moms because this month is International Women's Month. So we celebrate them, and how amazing they are, and how I hope that one of our young moms will be sitting in your seat one day, Raquel.
That would be awesome. That would be great. Now, I am assuming that some of these young women do not have cars, transportation. So for them to go to work or to your classes or programs, how do they do that?
Once again, relentless outreach. We actually, ROCA gives us vans. So we have vans assigned to the program. And so transportation is free, and we will pick them up and we will bring them to our facility, and then we'll bring them back home. If they have to have an appointment, we try to accommodate that appointment. Also, DTA gives them extra funds in their cash assistance, so they're able to provide them with a bus pass. And so that they get around. They network them. They network in order to get rides. They ask their friends. But for the most part, we provide transportation.
Very good, very good. And do you have a high rate of success or so in your programs? Do a lot of girls drop out through the program, or do they get to graduate?
Yes, so most recently, September of 2022, we had our first graduation. There was 10 girls that graduated. Our graduation is a little different because it's not necessarily graduation like they got their high set or they got a job. These young moms have been traumatized, either through the system or through sex or domestic violence, right? So these women, we celebrate small gains. So a young mom could graduate by just closing her DCF case, being reunited with her children, and getting an apartment, and is economically stable. That would be a gain for us, and she would graduate. Once she graduates, we would move her on to another program that will continue to give her the services that she needs. For example, keep continuing to support her with her high set, and maybe even entering college. We do have women that receive their high sets through us. We actually have one girl that's going to be testing very, very soon. Very proud of her. We've had another young lady graduate with her high set. And we've had some young moms that have continued to stay in school. So we're supporting them in their high school, but they come to ROCA for the programming. So, yeah.
That is wonderful. So to wrap up here our conversation, we have had such a great information. If anybody wants to get more information, is there a website, an address, a phone number that they can call?
Yes. So if there's anyone interested, we're most recently, we're going to have our fundraiser. So I encourage anyone and everyone to please go on ROCAInc.com. Our fundraiser is going to be a breakfast in Boston. And there's information posted on our website. And it's going to be May 12th of 2023. We're going to have our breakfast. And if you want to go on ROCAInc.com, you can please, there's a section there because I actually went on it last night. There's 3 little arrows. You can click on one of them and it'll bring you to the donation. So if you wanted to donate, if you wanted your donations to come directly to the Western Mass women, you can say so in the website. But again, we do service women in Eastern Mass and in Western Mass. We serve currently 257 women and 337 children between Chelsea, Boston, Lynn, and Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke. And we have our newest ROCA in Hartford now as well, a Young Moms program in Hartford. That's really amazing.
It is
Yeah.
growing quite fast. I remember when I met your director, Christine Judd, and at the time all they had was just Springfield other than Boston. And just to see that you have grown out to Chicopee and Hartford now, that's awesome. Thank you so very much for sharing such great information, Zenaida. It's been a pleasure to have you here in Tertulia.
Thank you so much. Can I just leave you with one quote? This morning, I asked the girls, if I were to say one thing that I can tell the world, or in this case, this area, what they want you, what you want them to know about you. This is what one of the young women said. She said, "Don't count us out. No matter the struggle we go through, we're always gonna succeed." And I just want you, everyone hearing within my voice, to please think about that. These women are, not only do we do relentless outreach, but they are relentless as well in their wanting to do better and be better for them and their children. Thank you, Raquel.
That's
My
wonderful.
pleasure's all
That's
mine.
really wonderful. What a nice way to finish our conversation. Thank you very much. Están ustedes en sintonía de Tertulia. You are in tune to Tertulia.